Bring me back my head!
Wolfman's got nards!
In this video, we'll discuss the ending of Halloween H20. We'll discuss the script of Halloween H20 and what was left out from the original script, but we'll also talk about Halloween Resurrection just slightly, with the whole beginning of Halloween Resurrection and the ending of Halloween H20. There's a misconception that Kevin Williamson done the screenplay and the script for Halloween H20, and that's not correct. Robert Zappia and Matt Greenberg done the screenplay for Halloween H20. There's no confirmation as to how much Kevin Williamson was involved in the script, the final script for Halloween H20. As a favour to Bob Weinstein, he helped out with the script that was already written. He cleaned it up a little bit, but he didn't get paid for it. He just done it as a favour because he was able to direct Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Not only did he have a hand in the script, he also sat down with Jamie Lee Curtis. Kevin Williamson and Jamie Lee Curtis sat down with the script together and they were really happy with it. Two of the most interesting points of this script for me was that it was supposed to be set at an all-girls school, so Josh Hartnett wasn't cast yet as Laurie's son. It was set at an all-girls school, and there was one scene written where it was going to tie in all 6 Halloween movies. From the Fangoria magazine that was interviewing Kevin Williamson, the issue 172 from May 1998, Kevin Williamson says, "It's set somewhere different. Laurie Strode is now a teacher at a private girls' school, and one tormenting student gets up and does a whole report on the murders of Haddonfield. We explain all 6 films in one scene and then move on. It's going to be fun." Now, like I said, one of the reasons for doing this video is regarding the ending of Halloween H20. So far, in May 1998, Kevin Williamson hasn't mentioned anything about a script having 2 parts, like it's going to be 2 movies. He's not said that yet. Obviously, we're still in the early scripting stage at this point, but at this point in time, there's nothing to say that Halloween H20 wasn't going to be the end. If we move on to Fangoria magazine from October 1998, issue 177, Jamie Lee Curtis is quoted for saying, "For me, this is a very faithful return for Laurie because she's totally repressed." She also makes a good point in this interview with her and Dr. Loomis. Now, obviously she misses Donald Pleasence as an actor, but for Dr. Loomis as a character, they tried to put Dr. Loomis into this movie, even if it wasn't Donald Pleasence, and she said there's no point in having Dr. Loomis because Laurie Strode didn't know Dr. Loomis. She's seen him at the end of Halloween, and she's seen him for 3 minutes at the end of Halloween 2. So she did have a good point in saying she didn't know the guy, so there's no point in having a Dr. Loomis if the story was about her. Now, it's good to read this interview with Jamie Lee Curtis because this is October 1998. Again, at no point up until October 98 was she unhappy with the script because Mustafa Akkad said that they always had Halloween Resurrection planned from the beginning, and when Jamie Lee Curtis found out about it, she was so angry because she wanted this to be the finale. Nope, not according to this. In October 1998, apparently she already knew, but she didn't know. She assumed, and everybody assumed, that Halloween H20 was going to be the end. Another interesting fact about the script just before they started filming was when they brought in Steve Miner to direct the movie because John Carpenter said no. He read the script and then he spoke to Jamie Lee Curtis and said, "Here's what I want to do because there's something I want to change." They had 2 plot lines in this film, plot A and plot B. Plot A involved Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode at the school, and plot B had Charles Dutton, the actor Charles Dutton, as a cop looking for Michael Myers, hunting Michael Myers down, and they decided, let's take away plot B and remove Charles Dutton altogether and just make it about Laurie Strode at the school. Here's where it gets really interesting when it comes to Jamie Lee Curtis and the Halloween movies. She said in the interview that she never saw Halloween 4, 5 and 6 at this point, and she also said that Halloween 2 stinks. She said that she didn't like making horror movies and she only did them for the money, obviously, and that seems to be what she's doing today. Judging from her interviews in 1998, she was just as enthusiastic about Halloween H20 as she was about Halloween 2018, and she was just as embarrassed about Halloween 2 as she is now of Halloween H20. So as you can see, it's just all about making money. And with that interview in October 1998, there's still nothing to do with Mustafa Akkad saying we have another sequel planned. Nothing at all, as far as we're all aware. As far as Jamie Lee Curtis is aware, this is the end. There is absolutely no interviews with the cast, crew, or Mustafa Akkad mentioning that there will be a sequel to Halloween H20. It was only after the success of Halloween H20 where Mustafa Akkad came out and says, we already had a sequel in the works. I don't have a problem with Mustafa Akkad coming out and saying, we made the ending of H2O final, however we want to make more Halloween movies, so let's just bring them back. Instead, they try to lie to us and say that we always had this idea, Jamie Lee Curtis was always on board, and then Jamie Lee Curtis came back and says, no, I wasn't on board with that. Jamie Lee Curtis knew nothing about it. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't care. All she wanted was a paycheck. There wasn't any plan in Kevin Williamson's draft that faked Michael's death. There wasn't any plan in any drafts or scripts that Jamie Lee Curtis read that involved faking Michael's death. And there wasn't any fake death in Robert Zappia or Matt Greenberg's scripts. And because of the success of Halloween H2O, Mustafa Akkad turned around and said, oh, but we planned a sequel all along. No, you didn't. You just wanted more money. In Fangoria issue 206 from September 2001, it further backs up the notion that no, they didn't plan a sequel to Halloween H2O. In this interview, they mentioned that they're redoing the events of the ending of Halloween H2O. They didn't mention that they had it planned already. Again, this is something that Mustafa Akkad added on to try and cement his reasonings behind bringing back another Halloween movie because of the success and the great ending to Halloween H2O. He knew that fans would be angry that the ending of H2O could be spoiled by bringing Michael back, but because he wanted to make more money, he wanted an excuse to do it by saying, but we already had this plan, so let us do it. At the end of the day, I don't have a problem with companies retconning endings of movies that are really good as long as they make a good sequel out of it after it. In this instance, they didn't do that with Halloween Resurrection. They made a mess of Halloween Resurrection, and a lot of people don't really like Halloween H2O because of that. But if you watch Halloween H2O as its own movie, as the very end of the original Michael Myers saga, you would probably look back at it fondly and thinking that's a really good movie. So what do you think, guys? Do you think there always was a sequel planned? And if so, leave your comments down below. Let me know why you think that. And don't just go by interviews from Mustafa Akkad after 1998. Try and find something before the Halloween H2O came out. If you can find something before Halloween H2O came out, then I'll listen. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.